Hello and welcome to the Big Smoke and Brands podcast. Yes. Hello, everybody. I hope you're doing well on this Monday of was it April 20 fucking 4th. Um, I hold on. Okay, it's not getting picked up on the microphone. Okay. I used to my. It's so weird in this fucking apartment because I know like everybody. I'm pretty sure every bathroom has one of those like vent things in it where it'll suck up all the air and when you're taking like a shower and all the steam and everything, it'll like suck up all the steam and shit. And so it's usually two different switches though. You got your light and then you got that one, but this one is all at once. So every time you turn on the light, you turn on the vent too. So it just makes a constant fucking sound. And I've always been paranoid about that being able to pick that up on the mics while I'm doing this, but nothing's come of it. So we're Jay fucking chilling. But yeah, I hope everybody's doing well and is doing. Man, it's been a weird Monday, man. It's been a weird weekend, to be honest. Uh, yeah, to be honest, yeah, it's just been a weird fucking couple days. And although I have fucking like blast on Sunday, obviously, which is weird because usually Sundays are usually like a chill day. Like people don't go fucking hard. Yeah, but it did not end up that way. I mean, it was weird because like it was weird bar hopping when it was like dead, and it's weird too. I was hanging out with my friend Mike, who works at one of the bar I usually go to, and the shout out to him too. It was a fucking awesome night. If you're somehow listening to this, that shit was fun as fuck. I never really been like bar hopping. Like it's always like you go to like one place and then maybe another place, and then you just either go back to the first one or you just leave from there. It's usually not such a from one place to another, getting like drinks at multiple different places. It was just weird too. That's just dangerous because you don't think you're drinking that much, and you're also like walking around and shit. But then like the second you like get to a place to sit down, you're like, oh fuck, I'm drunk. Uh, so I mean, it's fun though. Honestly, it's nice if you have like a little bar crawl area to go to. I have one friend that went on like it's like a tour thing. Like you get on like a bus or something, and you go it takes you to a specific bar and you like one drink from there. But it's like you pay. It's like a ticket. It's like a whole like produced thing basically, which is like I don't know. I don't know if I like that because like I feel like because if one place you're like man this is really cool. If you're just doing like a natural bar crawl, you can just be like, you know what, this is where we want to stay. So let's just stay here for a little while, go to the next one like in a bit, or just like not leave too. Like and because like I would hate to get to like a really cool spot and having like a really good time. And they're oh hey man we gotta go, we gotta get on the bus, we gotta go. And I remember my friend was telling me that like the one because they give you like a specific drink for each bar you go to, and it's like they said like half of them were shitty. So it's just like, I would hate that. I'd be like, especially if you're spending like a fuck ton of money, and you're probably not. I mean, I don't even know how much time you get to spend in each spot, and it might be an easy way to go to like expensive bars, maybe. That way you kind of get to like just pop in, check it out, and but like I don't know, it just seems like a little weird of a system to do it that way. I think it was a more natural one is like the way to go. And then like it was weird too, man. Like it's fucking because I mean it's weird. Like it's fun going out with someone that actually like knows all the people that work at bars. Like, I was a part of the club for like split second there, And it was weird too. I got a random sun drawn on my fucking forehead. Um, we went. I remember we went to this fucking comedy thing before we went to Fry, and I don't know. It's just weird too. It just seemed like a little like dead, just because. And I was a little thrown off because it was being done in a place that only serves like beer or cider basically. So I got my adult apple juice. And I was just sitting there chugging away, and it was weird because like the only people there were like the people performing basically, and me and my friend, and maybe like one or two other people. So it was cool, and it was also a little, I don't want to say, maybe a little boring. And maybe there was another open mic too that was like at 9 that was like down the street from that one basically. So maybe we should have like stuck it out and went there too. But we just ended up going back to Fry after that. Which I mean I don't really regret. I had a fucking blast. So we were supposed to go to like karaoke too, but we never made it there either. So I don't know. Although I didn't want, there was just fucking uh I didn't want to run into that one dude last time I went there again. But yeah, I digress. I'm just talking about my shit that you guys are not even here for. I mean, I gotta say, man, if you got like, I hate when people who don't, because like your parents' accomplishments aren't yours. Like, if you're just coasting off your parents being a success, then you're like, man, fuck you. You're not doing anything for yourself, basically. And if you're trying to like brag about what your parents did, to be like, oh, look at me, like, oh, like my dad owns the bar, or something like that, or you're just like a trust fund baby too is a good example. It's just like fuck you, like do something for yourself, and especially if there's like all they have to. I mean, I don't know, or maybe I'm just jealous because I'm still bumming it out here in this. I just had to renew my lease too, and it's my rent's slightly going up, and man, I'm seeing like I really do think that like you need like rent control in places like because like I mean I get it like land fucking what I guess what do I call them landlords I guess landlords or landowners whatever they need to like make money off the people living there so that they can. Although I gotta say, man, if I'm paying all this money in fucking rent and like the washing machine, washer and dryer, suck ass. There's only two of them. I'm pretty sure. I don't know if the washer really did well on my clothes and that the dryer shit was still fucking wet, and I had to pay another fucking dollar to get my clothes dry. I'm just like, what the fuck? Um, why are you increasing my rent if like I mean especially when I'm like here I see them like patching the fucking roof and shit or like not like the roof like that's over my head right now. It's like more like the balcony I guess you could say or like awnings so I'm just like okay man like are you doing like where are you guys putting all this money? You're not obviously you're not investing it back into where you're to the people that are living here. I wouldn't mind being paying more for rent if, like, and then they told us we can't have grills anymore either. So it's just because there's like fire codes and shit. I guess I mean I get that, but still, it's just it sucks when you gotta like pay. It's like paying more in taxes, like, I guess, and like oh you be like oh the roads are still fucked, or I mean it's like it's a weird thing like when you feel like you're wasting your money to not and I would be 100% happy about it if, or okay with it if I knew they're like, okay, hey, we're gonna like actually we're gonna increase your guys' rent, but we're actually gonna like fix some shit. Maybe get some nice washer and dryers, or uh, something that's not like shitty. That's all I ask. Um, yeah, I mean, I can't really complain too. This place is not that bad, and it's a pretty nice spot. Not gonna lie, and it's still pretty fucking cheap. I mean, although if I start having to like pay over $1,000, I might need to start looking for another place. I mean, I don't know. It's just, and I would think maybe the older I get, the more money I start making. So um, it's not like I'm gonna. I mean, it's just I don't know what the fuck I'm trying to say here. Um, it's just it's a weird fucking thing. I guess like I'm just worried about it. Really, that's all. Cause I gotta start paying student loans soon. Cause Uncle Joe ain't gonna fucking pay my shit back for me. And I get, and like the more I look at it, the more how fucking naive it was to like believe that they were actually gonna like let that happen. Like, cause I gotta think, I kept thinking about it too. It's just like, God, I hope it works out. But in the back of my head, like, who the fuck is gonna like lose a fuck ton of money if they do this? I mean, most of the loans are owned by the government, right? Because I mean, you have to go through federal student loan. I mean, I'm pretty sure who loans you out the money for education is like a is the federal government, and maybe they like collection like collecting it. They like lease out to like other companies and shit, or like I'm not exactly 100% on like how all that shit works or who is really making money off of student debt because someone obviously is because I mean it's a fucking goddamn huge industry and I mean and they were saying that like it's like well, how much money has been loaned out like $6 billion of student debt is just out there in the world. I mean some people come out of college with six figures in student debt and they're not even making six figures so like they'll be paying that the rest of their fucking life and you only get 6 months of not having to pay that. Like basically, you get like 6 months to find a job to basically pay for all that school. Um, shit. Like if you're not like all those people that got like a fucking psychology degree, like you need to get something going for yourself, or a fucking art degree. Like you need to start painting, and you need to start painting good right now. It's just I don't. I just don't fucking get it, man. It's just fucking a lot of just bullshit out in the fucking world. In the world, just and it was really dumb for people to hold on. What was I on? Um, I gotta say, man, I gotta really get I wonder if there's like a way to restrict my phone usage. I get distracted, so especially when I'm like, even when I'm trying to do this, something I really enjoy, or I'm at work, fucking driving sometimes. I mean, that's the worst one of it, I think, probably. And it's just like as soon as I see that little light pop up, especially if someone like I really want to talk to, so I'm just like, eh. I wonder if there's like a way to like restrict the usage of it so that I like unless it's only for like after a certain amount of time I can only like respond to messages. Like there's no Instagram, no YouTube, internet, any of that shit. Like only be able to like text, call or text maybe. I mean, because it's just. I mean, I live a life where people might need to call me in the middle of the night, so you know, it's not like I can just fall off the face of the earth after a certain amount of time every single day. Or it might actually make me like ration my usage. Like just like oh, I gotta like make sure I don't use too much of it, or something like that. Because I know they do that. Where like I've heard like parents doing that with their kids, where they'll put like a little timer on their phone. So like after a certain amount of time on your phone, you're not allowed. It locks basically. It's like a just a brick, which is I mean I think it's kind of bullshit, but I mean the thing is like fucking addiction basically. So I mean I can understand where they're coming from basically, but also at the same time you just like in this day and age you can't live unless you're off your phone basically. You can't be one of those. Oh, I don't have a phone. They'll be like, what the fuck you mean you don't have a phone? Like you can't, or you have like a flip phone or something, or you can only call or text, and you're just like, what the fuck is wrong? You know how many people would think you're like a psychopath? Um, or like I don't know. I mean, maybe people are kind of like slowly, like eventually, like in hundreds or millions of years, will slowly just become the phone. I always think that like cyberpunk shit would be kind of cool, having like robot arms and shit, or be able to like I think like in like the game cyberpunk, like your eye was basically your phone. Like you would basically be able to like see who you're talking to through your eyes, but not like with some stupid fucking Google Glass or some shit like that. It's just straight up, just like you get a phone call, you're just it's like in your brain, which is weird too, man. Like I really wonder if that's like a thing. Like I wish they would have gone in depth with that because it's kind of weird that like everybody just has like, do I all I have to do is like think, like I call blah 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 blah. Uh, or and it's just like slowly on my like face, basically. Um, but or like I can like see it or whatever. I don't know. I mean, it's just weird too because it's like this also like feels like a major implant into your brain. Like when do they do that? Like when do they? Is that like a thing? Like oh wait, to give your kids the new fucking Amazon eyeball or Apple Apple Eye point 2 3,000 or something. I don't know. It's just like when do you like implant your kid with a microchip in their brain or something? Because it's weird too. Like I wonder if like because you could like I think your brain does generate enough electricity like you could like power a small device with. So I don't. It would be kind of cool to think that like maybe you would you basically would become the phone. Like you can look shit up online or you can call people, text people, and I don't know. It just seems like it would be a good idea, honestly. Because like I remember eventually, I mean, because I know eventually, I mean, people are gonna be like, how do I get rid of this tiny brick in my hand, basically, to be like more efficient? Because I mean, that's how we always been. How can we make the biggest, baddest fucking thing on earth, and to be just better and better on everything? I mean, like cars, like assembly lines, phones. I mean, it's always constantly moving to something that's better. So eventually, I mean, I can't think of an iPhone getting any better to the point. Like the only way it would go is that basically the only way I feel like you could make a giant leap in like just efficiency or just like quality basically would be an implant into your head or something. Something where you would become the phone. Like you don't have to have this little fucking brick that you charge every fucking day. You're like, oh, I better make sure I charge my fucking brick so I can live my life. I mean, how crazy would it be to like go to someone like 300 years ago and be like, oh yeah, I have to make sure I charge my little glass brick uh every night before I go to bed, otherwise I can't live my life basically, or like I'm severely crippled on like what am I like able to do in life. Um, I mean, they would think you're fucking insane. They would think you're like a magician. If you brought a phone to like the Middle Ages, they would think they'd probably burn you as or like call you a demon. Or think you're God. You could. I mean, fuck. If I went back looking the way I look like with a phone, I'd be called Jesus. So I mean, it's very possible. So I don't know. You know what's weird? Really weird thing too, because like you got like the church description of like Jesus, like back in the day, and then you like they always see like I feel like they always try and make like leaders and like members of like church and shit like in paintings and stuff kind of look like that. It's like it was like a fashion like the first fashion trend was looking like Jesus or something. I don't know. Think it's just like every time I like see some like old book or like some old painting like and they're like this is what Jesus looked like and then I see like a painting of some dude like that's like just super important from back in the day. I'm like you're kind of trying to make him look like Jesus. I mean, there's even like I think I can't remember who it is. It might have been like a king or a queen of Spain. That was like severely because like a lot of the royals like they at the time were like inbred. Like you were fucking cousins and uh, I think in some serious cases like brothers and sisters sometimes even. And you would get these like birth defects. I mean, like shit. Having kids back in the day was not like a solid science yet either. So like, so God knows what they were doing to like even cause birth defects in the first place, and then now also you're inbred now. Like Jesus, um, you, I think it was like a prince or something. I can't remember. I can't remember his fucking name, but he was like severely fucking deformed. He was sickly. He was like just like this weird looking motherfucker basically. And when they would paint pictures of them, because like back in the day, the only way you could have like a picture of somebody and like know what they would look, I guess, know what they would look like, is having someone paint your portrait. And I think people were like the royal painter or whatever was told to like, hey, do not draw him, do not paint him exactly how he looks like, make him look better, like, because they also have to like try and like marry this guy off basically. And that's the crazy part too. Like sometimes people would be like, "Oh, you're gonna get married to like the princess of blah 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 blah," and or the king or whatever, and you wouldn't even know what this guy looked like or what she looked like until you met for the first time. or basically until you on your wedding day. Sometimes, probably in some cases, and I think that's why so many like yeah think about like all the like royal families of like back in the day. I mean, they're all shitty households. They're all shitty lives. I'm sure some of them produced like good. I mean, that's why so many like other kids are fucked up too because they're all like in forced marriages. So like none of them are like in happy, loving homes. Basically, they're just like forced to be like, oh hey, you're gonna be like back in the day at least. You're gonna be the person walking into a battlefield and like cutting people's heads off and leading people to die. And also, your father hates me, or I hate your father. And I mean, you gotta think how many like issues like kids back in the day probably have with their parents. It's like I really do believe that like if like like nur- nature over like nurture thing. I think I'm more of a nurture person. Like you can live in like a fucked up environment, but if you have two loving parents, I think you can still turn out pretty good as a kid. Um, like, but like if you have like if you're living in a shit home and your parents are also shitty to each other or to you, then you're gonna turn out like shit too. And like, that's why I think like I always like the stories of people that oh man I lived in the people coming out of that like on the other side better basically for it like living in a shithole, having shitty parents, having like just a shitty life in general, and they're like I'm just gonna work as hard as humanly fucking possible so that I do not have to live this life anymore, and or so my kids don't have to live this life too. And it's just I mean that's just like I think one of the greatest stories you can like mm, watch or listen to or read. And it's just I always also like escapes from like shitty fucking environments too, or just like I can't remember what UFC fighter was. Like, this guy was like from Africa, and he was trying to get into Europe so that he could like be a boxer or whatever. He was just trying to get the fuck out of his little fucking village, and he got I think it was like in Morocco. He's trying to leave Morocco to go to Spain or France or something. It basically just cross the fucking Mediterranean Sea or whatever this that little body of water is right in between Africa and like the coast of Europe, basically. And yeah, Mediterranean. I think there's a Mediterranean Sea. Yeah, look at me. I know geography. I don't. I didn't remember, or I didn't forget everything from what freshman year of high school. Or you take geography, I think twice in school. Like maybe like once in elementary school, or like middle school maybe, and then again in like freshman year of high school. I mean, at least I did it. Because it goes from like history or whatever you go like geography. I think it goes then it's world history, and then U.S. history, and then do you not? Yeah, because like senior year I took economics, so I had that was my history credit. Because you only have to take 3 years of history, and they don't really have like advanced courses. Like they don't go like in depth in anything. Um, Yeah, although I remember economics, that was such a bullshit class. They're like, yeah, money. I'm like, yeah. And copying off the person next to me. I was like, I have no idea what's going on in this fucking class right now. And it's not even like, or like, it's so weird when like teachers that just don't give a fuck. Which is right, maybe like what some like schools are fucked. It's the amount of teachers that just don't give a shit anymore. They're just like, I gotta go from like 8 o'clock to fucking make it till 4, and then I am home free. I will grade all your shitty papers. Or some people, I remember once some teachers were like, I just do not want to give. They just want to give you a grade for showing up, basically. I remember I had one English teacher who's like, we could either sit here and like debate shit, or we could do work out of the book. Your choice. And I was just like, no, I remember people just make up shit for the sake of argument and be like, well, yeah, you know what? Fuck Trump. Or something like that. Um, and it's just like, yeah, fucking crazy shit, dude. Honestly. And then like some, like coaches were always like the worst teachers too, because they're like they don't give a fuck. They just have to teach something because you can't just be. Or either you don't get paid enough. I wonder. Cause like that's what my dad would do. Because he used to like he would be a coach for one of the sports at a school, and then he would also be a history teacher. which is classic. Like I think it's like English teachers or history teachers or maybe even I think I had. Yeah, I remember one basketball coach was a Spanish teacher. I had him. He was cool. Fucking passed me. Do you want Spanish one, baby? C minus or C plus or something. I don't know. I just remember having to see that and be like, I do not care. I will thank God. Like thank you. If I can remember now, I'll give you a shout out. But like, I always love like the teachers that are just like, hey man, I know this ain't your thing. Like here, keep going. You're not, especially when it's like something. Like, although learning Spanish would have been nice, but nobody remembers high school Spanish. So he's just like, get the fuck out of here. I'm not gonna fucking make you retake Spanish one. And then oh my god, dude, like the next two Spanish teachers I had were the fucking worst. One going through a divorce and the next one so bad he got fired the next year. Like he didn't even stay for. I think I think he like on the last day of school he announced that he was like not coming back for whatever reason. Nobody. I don't think anybody. Cause I didn't like to like listen to rumors about these people because like I mean they're all fucking adults and I don't really care about their lives that much. And I don't want to hear about. I mean it's not my fucking business what you got going on outside of here. And like I'm not invested in your in this at all. We're not like work friends. I'm the product. You're the fucking producer. So I mean, it's whatever. Um, but yeah, some people just say he just left. I remember. Oh my god, I remember the principal of my high school. Everyone thought yeah, cause he left in like middle of the fucking school year one year. Like he like quit or like got fired or something, and nobody knew exactly what fucking happened. And a lot of people said he got drunk and showed up to that teacher's house and was like trying to fuck her, and because he had a wife and two kids too. But like the official story was like, oh, he went back to teach because he was from Houston, I guess. So he went back to teach in Houston or to be a principal of a school over there. And we're like, all right, whatever. It's not as fun as showed up at a teacher's doorstep drunk trying to find. That's the thing about kids, man. We'll think of like the most stupidest, craziest shit just for our own entertainment most of the time. Uh, all right, I'm gonna bring up the time. I'm starting to do this again just because sometimes, especially when we have like a big group of guests. So I'm gonna try it out on like the smaller ones for a little bit too. But like here we go. I'm bringing back the topic list. Okay, here we go. Oh, dude. Um. Oh yeah, I saw that like Russia is they just signed this bill that they can like send like they can do an electronic draft. So basically, all they need is your fucking like. So like back in the day, you would get a letter in the mail saying, "Hey, report to your local draft office," basically, and go to war. But like with this now they can send you a text, so like the government can see if you read it or not. Imagine like, oh my god, dude, I can't imagine just like getting a text like, oh, what's this? Oh, you have been selected for the draft, and you're like, what the fuck? It's so and it's God, imagine that too. It's just like the government telling you to drop everything in your life, pick up a rifle, and you just go shoot somebody. Like, it's like such a weird concept. And then they get that over text. I mean, there's some things you should never do over text. No, you should never break up with somebody over text. You should never. Uh, what else? What's another one? Fuck. You should definitely never get drafted over text. You don't ask someone out over text. You don't ask someone to marry you over text. And for sure you don't say you're going to war over text. Like that's such a bitch move by the government. Even by mail is a little funny. I feel like some dude should come up with like a bugle and like a giant sign or something, or like a giant fucking like list. Like you, my friend, have been selected for. Like imagine if they came to your house. Oh, that man, they just grabbed you off. Uh, you answer the door in your fucking underwear or something, like a goddamn degenerate, and they're like, "You're being sent to war. Pack your shit and let's go." Um, Even then, it's just like, man, I can't imagine being like involved into a conflict where they like require that. Like, they're just like, "Hey, man, we got nobody wants to be here." I mean, that's the reason why they're doing the draft too, because like nobody would. I don't think anybody's signing up for this shit. And like, I think a lot of like people in Russia also don't agree with this war at all. They're just like, this is bullshit. We're like laughing stock of the world now, and like, we don't support this at all. I mean, it's hard to see what's real too, because we're always like, oh, Russian propaganda and blah blah blah, suppressing like the views of the people. But like, we're also getting the propaganda from here too. Like maybe they're just trying to make Russia out to be the biggest human. I mean, they are. I'm not trying to defend Russia here at all. But I don't know. People like to. I mean, they've been telling us we don't have troops in there, and then now we do. And like it seems like they're just inching closer and closer and closer to like, hey, this is World War III, and we're getting involved, which is like, I don't know, because they had to like when that happened, everybody freaked out and was just like, oh shit, are we about to start World War III? Like, what's going on? What's happening over here? And I mean, because like, think about it too, like, I mean, how we got involved in like World War II. Same thing we're doing now, just selling weapons. I mean, it takes one Russian to fucking blow up anything related to an American or anything with an American citizen on it, and then boom, we're going to fucking war, which is crazy. I mean, we gotta wait. I mean, as long as we don't do it in winter, that'd be great. Because no one should invade Russia during winter. They should know better. It sucks too. Like, God, I would hate to live in Russia at that time. Like, imagine getting like invaded by Ukraine in the United States or something, and or shit, just being a fucking soldier too. I did, it's weird. I did see this little video. They found like this little puppy, just like in like no man's land or whatever, between like the Russians and the Ukrainians, and now the Ukrainians are just using him as like a guard dog. And I'm like, oh, this is adorable. I hope you don't get blown up. Please, if anything, don't let this dog get blown up. He's just too cute. They put like, I think they even put like a little bulletproof vest on him or something. Um, which is just adorable. It's just adorable. I can't help it. I'm sorry. Like, I don't care. I pay them. If I was like a soldier there too, I'd be like, thank God for this dog. Anything to like take your mind off of like possibly getting blown up or bombed or shot. Uh, God, some crazy fucking Russian comes over the wall and just trying to kill you because he doesn't want to die. I mean, that's the crazy part too. It's just like the. I think they even said that like Putin should be like charged with like war crimes and shit like that after this all the dust settles. But I doubt he's gonna do that. I doubt he's gonna be tried as anything. I mean, he'll just be like another Stalin. We're gonna find out about it like after his death, basically, all the crazy fucked up shit he did. Or he's gonna be like a Hitler situation. He can kill himself before he can even get captured or something. That's just my take on it, basically. And I just don't, man. I just really don't get blown up. I don't like nuclear war. Just seems like such a bad. This is a bad idea, man. And then like Russia, we constantly threatening it too. And it's just like, I don't think it's like a cry, fucking like say like Ukraine starts invading Russia, and like obviously, I mean they've been winning so far, so um, say like everything goes their way basically, and like they're like marching down the street of Moscow, and fucking Putin is just like, you know what, fuck you, just drops a fucking nuclear bomb on Kiev or something, or like just shoots a missile, and I mean, what do you do after that? I mean, do we all start shooting at each other now, or do we like bomb Russia? I mean, do we nuke Russia? I mean, it's just like, and then like I remember they were trying to like, weren't they saying that Ukrainians were like shooting shit at like Chernobyl or something, or like, God, I would hate to have to be the squad that has to go through Chernobyl. Imagine like one misfire and then like little dome that's over the reactor that's keeping all that radiation contained. Basically, you just blast a hole in it, and now all of you are dead, just dead, straight like just invisible, fucking wave of death is now upon you. And that's the crazy part too. I was watching some Chernobyl documentary. I think it was not like the show, but like there was like a documentary, just like where just literally just showed the pictures of like what happens to like what these firefighters that like went to like the scene of the Chernobyl incident, like the first responders from it, looked like with a couple days after, like basically liquefied, like all their skin's coming off, and they look like just like a fucking like demon, basically burn victim or something. It's fucking nuts. I mean, it's just nuts what that shit can do to you, and like all these people are just playing around with that shit, being like, "Oh, I'll bomb you." I mean, it's like cool, like And like that's the thing. Like after the explosion, that area is just fucked for like hundreds of years. Like Chernobyl will, I like never probably in our who knows in like the lifetime of humanity might not be good. Like because I mean that's a nuclear reactor. A bomb I think is like doesn't take as long. Because I mean like I think you can go to Nagasaki and Hiroshima, where we dropped the two atomic bombs in World War II. I think you can go there now. Like I don't think it's like that. I don't think it's like so irradiated you can't live there anymore. I think isn't there like a place like that in Japan still though, like Okinawa or something or because I remember they had like an earthquake and then one of their a reactor did like start to fail and now like the area outside like surrounding it was basically like you gotta go. You're like it's still unlivable to this day. And yeah, I remember they were trying to get like a robot to fix that thing or something because it was just too dangerous or like nobody wanted to fucking go fix it. And you know what? It's not out of character for a robot to save the Japanese. So I don't know. But anyway, I think I'm gonna end the episode here. On that note, thank you all for coming. Thank you all for listening. I hope you have a wonderful Monday. This should be up by Monday. And yeah, also have a wonderful week. I wish you all well and Godspeed on your journey throughout life. And I hope you all are do good and are loved and know that I love you. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.